Hi everybody, welcome to Demo, the show where companies come in and they show us their latest products and services. Today, I'm joined by Simon Wickmans. He is the CEO and founder of Seaside. Welcome to the show, Simon.
Thanks for having me.
You're coming all the way from the UK, so I appreciate you making the travel here. And tell us a bit about Seaside and what you're going to be showing us today.
Yeah, so Seaside stands for client-side. We basically do client-side security. It's quite a logical thing as we came to protect our infrastructure and buying firewalls and all that type of stuff. And now we also protect open source dependencies on registries like Node Package Manager. There's all types of attacks that are looking for alternative places to execute that are not as monitored. And of course, the browser is one of those, so that's what we do.
Okay, and so when we ask about who this is designed for, I'm pretty sure you just said the word attacks and security. This is aimed at security officials at a company, correct?
Yeah, mostly I would say companies that are in the e-commerce space or have a significant amount of their revenue coming through their website. So either by actually accepting credit card information or ads. And actually in line with that, PCI DSS has a requirement now for client-side security because the majority of credit card theft nowadays happens through client-side attacks.
Yeah, and what problem are you solving here? So why should companies be caring about this issue? Because I think when we talked before the show, you brought up things that I wasn't even aware were going on, especially when third-party scripts, correct?
Yeah, correct. So the thing is that we don't actually know what's happening in the browser of users when you build a website. You add all types of dependencies, and many of those will do fetches when they get loaded in the browser of a user. And you don't actually see any of that stuff happening. So when we talk about attacks that happen client-side, it could literally be anything. Crypto mining, stealing credit card information or logging credentials, sensitive information on input forms, you name it. Basically anything you can do for legitimate reasons in a browser, you can also use for illegitimate reasons.
Yeah, and so what would companies be doing if they didn't have Seaside? Would they find out about an attack after it happened and then they'd be like, oh man, we're in trouble now? Or is there another way to kind of monitor for this without, if they weren't using yours?
So there's a couple of open source things you can do to limit the risk using things like content security policies, for example, or just being very picky with the client-side fetches that you do. But that being said, a majority of the time, even when people do that, there's still a significant gap there.
Right.
So what we see is that when there's an incident regarding client-side security, it usually takes like days, weeks, months for that to be noticed. And so in the case of like credit card theft, for instance, what typically would happen, and same with session tokens being stolen, those would be bucketed and basically sold again on the dark web.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to trace back where they came from. And so therefore, many companies will not even know about a client-side attack. And so the Polyfill incident that happened like sometime in June last year, that was a great example of a script that was on 500,000 websites that was potentially doing things that we don't even know about.
Wow. All right, so we've got a really cool demo here. So let's show me some of the cool stuff you've got.
Sure. So we made a website for a fictitious company called Beverage.ltd. It's a drinks company, and like every website you go to nowadays, it will ask you to enter things like your email address for like a newsletter, and you can of course buy products on this actual website. If you were to go and navigate to that cart, you can type in your credit card information. And like most websites, we of course added some analytics tools to this. So if you go into the head tag of this website, you'll see that it is indeed using Webflow. And so that's where we built this particular site. And then we added PostHog, Google Analytics, but also things like some Vercel Analytics, Clickies, Partner Stack, and Intercom, right? So that widget that everybody uses for support chat mailboxes nowadays. Now, even if I don't actually do anything, like don't even type anything into a form, but anything that I am typing right now is actually being keylogged. So I'm just going to refresh this page. I'm going to show you, this is some of the things that I was typing yesterday. I just typed in help, 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 right? This is actively like there's a script on this website that is stealing information and sending it places. In fact, on this website right now, there is even a crypto miner present. So it's mining crypto in people's browsers. So this is definitely a website with a bunch of client-side issues to it, right? So I'm just going to quickly implement Seaside. So there's multiple ways you can implement Seaside depending on what the website is built on. Well, this website was built on Webflow, but what we actually suggest if you build something on React or Next.js or any modern framework is using our NPM package because it gives the most amount of security.
Okay.
But this is like the Webflow input for these scripts. Actually, it's funny, right? You can hear my laptop starting to cool because of the crypto mining. So it's struggling because of that. I'm just going to add the Seaside script, and then I'm going to publish it. And then we got to wait a few seconds for Webflow to actually make that change to the website. And now let's go here again. What should happen now is that the majority of these scripts, there you go, get rewritten to flow through Seaside. So as you can see, the domains were changed to the majority of these scripts, to actually have a Seaside script, right? So proxy.cypher.dev, that's one of our testing URLs. These scripts now flow through us, right? And so as a result, the code flows through us, we see it, and we can prevent bad things from happening. My laptop's gonna stop cooling in a few seconds when it's no longer doing the crypto mining, because that's now been blocked, funny enough. So when I go into the Seaside dashboard, this is what you'll see, right? So in this dashboard, you've got like the website, and you've got the scripts that were blocked, and then scripts that were flagged for review. Thing is that browsers are like, it's pretty much the Wild West. There's a whole lot of things that people do with JavaScript that they probably shouldn't. But they're not necessarily bad, it's just unconventional. And so we've got basically three things that can happen. Either we block scripts on your behalf, and that's when we really know that these things need to be blocked, or we flag scripts for review, and so you can then ignore that like review, or you can block it. Or we know that the scripts are fine, and then they just go into this overall list.
Okay.
So I'm gonna show you now one of the scripts that we blocked, which is a crypto mining script. So this is a very malicious script, right? So as you can see, it's been heavily obfuscated to make it very hard to read. We, of course, flag things like eval usage. But as a result of course, CPU spiking, something that we can notice, and also through our AI classification that we do, so we parse the actual code, run it through an LLM, this script was flagged as malicious. And so as you can see here, the script has been blocked by Seaside. It has triggered the following rules. So there's crypto rules, obfuscation rules, and a few other rules there as well. So this was a good example of something that you really don't want to have on your website.
Right.
To give you an idea of like just other scripts that are on this website, so there's like a whole range of analytics tools here. None of these have really triggered any concern, but I think something that's important to flag when we onboard customers, they're often surprised by the amount of scripts that are there. And that's because a client-side script usually fetches another client-side script, which fetches another client-side script. And that creates just a lot of noise. As I mentioned earlier as well, there's a compliance requirement kicking in now, and that is PCI DSS. So PCI DSS v4, that's the payment card industry digital safety standard, actually requires you to monitor credit card payment like pages on your website if there's any client-side scripts, right? So PCI DSS v4 is explicitly calling that out. And so therefore, what we did is we created a portal that explicitly calls out all the things that they required in that document. So PCI DSS asked you come up with an approval list or a justification list of why certain scripts need to be there. So to give you an idea, this is all of the scripts that are running on the payment page of that website. There's intercom here, there's like JS delivery. We've given justifications for all of them. I'm going to give you an example, for instance, here for PostHog. You can click on this little view icon, and I can enter my justification myself, or I can just click Get AI Review Suggestion, and this is going to inject it. Because of course, we see the payload of the script, we know what that script does, so we can generate that for you. Or you can, of course, then go ahead and actually block it as well. So in this case, that's an analytics script. I'm going to accept that AI justification, and that is now done. This is a sub request of PostHog. I can basically do the same here as well. It's going to recognize that's part of that parent script. So there you go.
So this will help with compliance then for the PCI DSS?
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is explicitly 6.4.3.
Okay.
And then on the right side here, current security headers, that's actually referring to another very specific one, 11.6.1, which requires you to monitor headers of the actual page. That's to protect basically websites against a malicious server-side action that prevents certain security controls. And so that's also here. And then something you can do that, of course, is going to help you a lot with audits. You can press the download button and then just get a nice PDF. Oh, for some reason on this Wi-Fi it doesn't work. That PDF report just gives you a very clean view that you can give to your auditors to basically take into account. Yeah.
All right, and so you've been around for about a year now. So it's possible that a lot of this will change, like as you're continuing to develop it. But where can people go for more information about the service?
Yeah, so our website, seaside.dev, we've got a free tier, so you can actually just onboard any website. We don't want to build security solutions only for enterprises. We've got a very cheap business tier as well, so if you're making couple of $100K a year in revenue and you're just looking for a solution to this problem, you can go ahead, you pay us $100 a month and have this solution. And of course, we also got a large enterprise tier and also a tier for partners and MSPs, basically.
All right, great stuff. Simon, again, thanks for the demo.
Thank you very much.
That's all the time we have for today's show. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and add any thoughts you have below. Join us every week for new episodes of Demo. I'm Keith Shaw. Thanks for watching.